Oh, my boy Top Boy Q in the mix. I saw you, Ed. You were like right when I opened the stage. You were already there, man. That's that's real commitment. I'm inviting you, Top Boy Q. Get up here. Yo, what's up, fam? Tribe called XRP. You already know. Yo, Top Boy, I can't hear you if you're talking.
Yo, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah. What's good, fam? How you feeling?
Chilling.
Nice,
You gonna wait for
nice.
a couple more people to roll through, or you want to get
Yeah,
started?
no, most definitely. I'm gonna do like a roll call low key. We had 73 people RVSP for this, so I'm gonna roll call everyone so they get that notification that we're talking about them. So we got Jeff Saylor's already here, Cloud Kicker, Spencer Lankusic, Teledot, Sapper, Cal No Fork, Abtract, Starline, Leo CM, Emily Lazar, Cliff Jumper, JP Loves Cake, Sheon Liberation, Crypto City. Above Serps, Ryan V, Bobby Millett, Rocky Unit, Aerospace Ape, Adnet, Listen Clash, Cripback, Ed77. Sorry, guys, I'm putting you through this. Jay Z Crypto, Happy Pants, Furious Curiosity, Riptide, RNG Crypto, Smurfstorm, Eladrin, Emanci P, 8, The Force, XRP4 You and Me, Dice, Aleem Love Crumbs, how do y'all deal with this level? Whatever, bro. We've been having fun over here. Dave J, Tripto, J. Dot 022, Kid Ninja, Izonic, OORT, Ease, Roger 5, Proclaim, Roy T, Web3 Lifestyle. Low key is it? All right, I'm stopping there. Just too
Yo,
much.
we're
But
doing this.
yeah, man, you already know, bro. It's been pretty hype here. Yesterday there was like 50 people who came. Layla's had 60. Taco has been training. Exactly. You already know, man. Shout out to the homie Taco for show, dog. Um,
So,
One love, Sarafa. Did Top Boy Q get over the sniffles? Did you?
you know what? I feel like I got COVID. Not even gonna lie to you. It was one of those where you feel like you're getting better, and then all of a sudden the next day it's twice as bad as what it was. So I don't know if I'm 100% recovered or not. If my voice is nasally, it's because of that. Well, it's mostly nasally anyway, but it's probably gonna be a little bit worse today. But feel all right. Can have a light conversation as JaeHoon promised. He said it wasn't going to be too
Nah.
intense. And uh, if I'm not mistaken, he said he'll keep the community in check. Am I reading this right, JaeHoon?
I never said. I mean, I will. I
Listen,
will.
listen.
We all keep each other in check. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, we're gonna be diving deep into discussion. I told Top Boy Q that we're not gonna be asking any hard questions just to lure him in here so that we can we can all gang up on him. Nah, I'm messing. But
Yeah,
no, really, the goals of today is we're planning to just dive into some of the changes in the white paper and how each change
yeah,
has help put this to a brighter future at the end of the day. Let me just put a message in general chat so people know this is happening. By the way, you could keep talking.
yeah. No, I mean, we went live with some of the changes in the white paper. What, a week and a half, 2 weeks almost. I feel like I haven't been in Discord a lot. Been occupied with a number of things, but part of it has been intentional. I was hoping to address any concerns, and I'm sure lots of feedback and commentary directly. So if people have questions, um, I'm glad to try to answer them. Um, Overall, I saw some mixed remarks, mixed feelings about the overall sort of net effect that people have been seeing in their distribution. Positive for I think the vast majority of people, not so positive for some, but that tends to be the name of the game with any economic policy, and this is pretty much that. You know, not sugarcoating it. People are concerned about the amount of music awards they get. I'm sure a lot of people do some math around what they spend and what they look to receive and the utility that they're getting from it. So, um, it's all love. I understand the incentives. I'm not deaf to why people. A lot of participants play this game. Not everyone, but the reward side of things is very important to people. So, wanna answer those as best as we can. First question: when face reveal? Actually, Jehun and I have been on a public AMA with both of our faces a while ago, but I'm sure y'all gonna have to dig that up. I'm not putting a link in there or anything. But we talked about the film and music collab that we continue to intend to have, the interoperability that we know is ever so important to everybody in the ecosystem, that we're driving towards. But you know, as you see, with product development and software development, if any of you guys have ever worked in that space, there's hiccups that you have to get over, and I think both of those products are in a pretty solid place now, to scale and to start bringing in newer audiences. But I'm mumbling a little bit, JaeHoon. I'm gonna give it back to you. I don't know if you
No, it's
had
all good, man.
a
Yeah, no,
structure or form here, but
I do. Yeah, no, I want to kind of just make sure the goals and kind of a format of this conversation is understood. So first of all, I feel most of you already kind of know Top Boy Q. So not gonna really, with the prior conversations, wanted to kind of have more of an introduction to some of the members of the team who haven't, really, still getting known from the community, but TopBoyQ has been around a lot, and so just not going to really dive too much into that. Like I said, we just want to go into kind of each white paper change and how each change is leading the music ecosystem to a brighter future. We're also, I know you guys, I know some of the other ones, in terms of questions, we haven't really been diving into certain questions, but this one we really want to just have a really just great conversation around everything and just hear some of what you guys have felt about this new change overall. So yeah, let's get started. Uh you need appreciate you. Jeff, I know you're recording, so shout out to Jeff. Yeah, let's just hop right into it. So first of all, as kind of like an icebreaker, wanted to kind of ask you, like, what do you think is the meaning of life?
meaning of life, bruh. I
No, I'm
wasn't
just
ready for
messing.
this
I'm
exercise.
just
Okay,
you know what's funny, guys?
I
Me and Top Boy Q low key be talking a lot about, God, and we be getting pretty deep. Bobby's like asked him the hardest question in the
you know
world.
what?
No, I'm messing. No, no, no.
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
we could dive into that
Well, God,
conversation.
God tends to be a controversial topic in the modern age, but yeah, well, maybe another time with a more intimate audience. But
No, I'm messing
uh,
with you. No, my real icebreaker question is, how has listening to music played a role in your life?
on my life,
Yeah.
you know what? Ironically, I don't listen to music as much as I used to. I think at a time in my life where I was going through self-discovery, and learning to be sort of um, analytical and conscious in my life, music helped me sort of find a bit of a path there. I tend to listen to music that's like conscious, so I listen to lyrics a lot. I don't just listen to tunes and bop to those. So I guess I'm not necessarily a traditional music listener, um, but I think it's helped me um, appreciate different types of art form. I've always been one for sketching and different forms of creativity, and music is something that allowed me to appreciate art forms that I necessarily wasn't good at or explored myself. But I don't
Mm.
know if that answers your question, Jacob, but
No, no, it
that's all
did.
I
It
got
did.
for you now.
I like, sometimes I feel in times where there's a song that kind of speaks to you or helps you through, a lot of people I feel have that experience. But overall, yeah, no, that definitely answers the question. Sashimi Kun, we ain't intimate enough, bro. Yo, guys, by the way, I need everyone to help me get Sashimi Kun to do an AMA. I've been wanting to. 'Cause I think it'll be fun to dive into the tech side of things. So yeah, keep pinging Sashimi on that. Um, all right, yeah, but let's dive into some of the details on the white paper, right? So first, one of the changes that we implemented was the new dynamic music emissions based on ecosystem activity, which means the more activity is in the ecosystem, the more everyone, the more the daily distribution increases. So, what was the reason we implemented this change, and how does this benefit the music ecosystem?
Good question. I mean, we've seen a dynamic emissions model in various projects. People are probably familiar with it on the film side, which I think has been generally received well. And it tends to be, in my opinion, the benchmark for Web3 products where emissions are very important to different participants. And if the product is not performing well or there isn't a lot of engagement with it, then you don't want the emissions to sort of run out without real true activity. And the previous model, which was still actually dynamic, but it was based on just one layer of participation, which was new tracks that are coming onto the platform. So people didn't really see a lot of volatility because of the different levels of engagement people are having on the platform. But moving towards something that was purely based on activity, and we as the operating entity sort of define what those activities are. They were basically things that like participation that is constructive for the growth of the ecosystem. So things like listening to music, minting new music, operating a jukebox node, um, inviting friends to listen to music, minting music. It all sort of revolves around music. But the idea was as we see growth within the platform, the number of people participating with it increases. The size of the daily emissions should also increase to continue incentivizing that growth. Now, dynamic emissions could also have a negative effect. It could also go through, I guess, a vicious cycle where if there's no activity and there's no emission, it doesn't incentivize further activity. And so it kind of goes into this downward spiral, which is why we sort of put guardrails on both the daily minimum and the daily maximum. That was the thinking around the daily min, the daily max, but the emissions being completely dynamic, I think makes a lot of sense for a Web3 model where, um, as it's in its inception phase, the earliest participants tend to benefit the most. But as more and more people come in, and they come in with the incentives of getting more rewards and the music token, um, the amount of music token that is emitted should scale according to the new people coming in. Now, um, that's a bit technical. Not everybody is going to care about that level of technicality. It's mostly the users that are incentivized by rewards that probably care in how emissions are done. I think for everyday people that are just coming in, listening to music and trying to make a little bit of music, what you will have noticed is on days in weeks where a lot of people are using the platform, your emissions will likely be a little bit higher. In weeks where nobody's using the platform, your emissions are going to be lower. Um, so that was kind of the underlying premise behind it. It's proven to be more of a successful model in Web3 than a pure sort of a static emissions or even like a halving thing like we had with Gala or we have with Bitcoin. Those models weren't necessarily built for entertainment and activity in mind. It was just, a store of value with Bitcoin, for example, or with Gala. I think the tokenomics were formed at a time where there weren't a lot of best practices in Web3 entertainment products. So the thinking behind it was taking the best practices for Web3 entertainment models and incorporating here. And I think for the most part, it served its purpose. Um, some hiccups here and there, but overall, I think it served its purpose. Apologies
Yeah,
for
no,
that rambling answer, but
it
yeah,
was great. It was
this
great.
is
No,
going
it
to
was
be a technical.
No,
Cool.
no, no. I think people are in tune with what you're saying. And yeah, I like Top Boy Q was saying too. Not everyone is going to go into the details, but if you really look at our whole platform, it's all based around the foundation is the music ecosystem, and I think part of this change as well makes it easier for people to understand how to participate in the ecosystem, especially with the user journey that was created on the website. So I think yeah, that's gonna help people, not everyone might do the full digging of information around kind of how this
Yeah,
platform works, but it at least gives hints and nuggets for people to be introduced to the concept of music in general and what it does. So I think there's and yeah, one important note to make is that this is still just the beginning at the end of the day, and some of these changes is just kind of making sure the foundation is in a right place for us to jump into other changes. One thing that I think Rocket Unit asked is one function you set to control the token issuance based on the platform activity. And I think that's yeah. So if you kind of already did, but can you dive into basically like how do we determine the daily distribution of music that's given a day?
Yeah. So if the ecosystem supporting points, or I like to think of it as constructive participation, if that is the keystone that determines how much emissions should occur in the day, then there needs to be an entity that defines what those constructive actions are. And right now, given that we are still in the inception phases of this platform, we as the Gala Music curating or operating entity, or whatever you want to call it, has defined those actions, and we've put like a weighted score in terms of the value each of those actions bring. So if you notice, if you bring in a friend to come sort of host the music on Gala Music, that has quite a high weight to it, because without the decentralized network of nodes hosting the music, you don't have a hosting system. And so um, there's a lot of sort of math that went into what is the most valuable action that people can do and the weighted score relative to one another. And so we've sort of determined that for now. As this product becomes more and more decentralized over the course of the next 5, 10 years, and it takes a life of its own, and we as the Gala Music entity start taking the training wheels off, this would become something that a DAO would be responsible for, or a decentralized community members or participants determine what are the best actions that should determine what activity and engagement on the platform looks like. In terms of the specific math around it, it's a simple formula. I mean, whatever those actions are, if you have 100 people doing those actions or 500 people doing those actions, you take the points of each one of those actions, you aggregate it, and that determines the 10% pool that the ecosystem supporting actions are getting. And so if we have the 10%, then it gives us what the other allocations are for different participants, for node owners, for track owners, for artists, for um, the development fund, which is the operator supply. So it's very simple. You take the overall points, and you get the amount of music based off of a simple formula, which is one point equals four music, and that determines the ecosystem supporting pool. And when you have the ecosystem supporting pool as the keystone, that determines the other allocations as well.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, no, I think I see some people who are really in tune with everything going on in general, but yeah, that's what I noticed when we made this shift is not everyone has the understanding of how this all works, and so people kind of start coming up with their own understanding. So I definitely wanted to make sure we use this space to kind of
Well, I
clarify
think
how it all
so.
works.
So to that point, JaeHoon, I think there does need to be a greater level of transparency in how um, the math is working behind the scenes, and how these points are um, amounting to a certain amount of music. The Gala scan, like our blockchain explorer, does have quite a bit of it, but I think an action on our team is to provide a bit more transparency there, or endpoints, so people can have complete visibility over it. If you find that there isn't enough transparency there, it's not because we're gatekeeping or we're trying to withhold information. It's because we simply haven't gotten there yet. So I have seen some of that feedback from the community, and it almost seemed like an accusation that we're holding back certain information so that people can't do their math. I think it couldn't be further from the truth, at least from our perspective. Um, we want to give as much visibility there as possible. We're just not there
Exactly.
yet.
No, that's a great point to make. By the way, I wanted to say what's up to Hutch. I appreciate you sliding through, my man. I'm we're gonna, I've been talking to Hutch behind the scenes too. But yeah, anyways, let's jump into kind of yeah, we've discussed the dynamic music emissions part. Let's talk about the standardizing of jukebox node rewards. So, in terms, basically, this new system is if you run your jukebox for an uptime of 20 hours, you participate in the earnings rather than it depending on what tracks you host. So, what was the reason we implemented this change, and how did this change benefit the music ecosystem?
Yeah, I think this one was a little bit controversial, in my opinion. And, some people that have had like beefed up nodes that were hosting a lot of tracks might have not liked this change. But the thinking behind it was today, as a music product proposition, you're purchasing a node, which is, a license to operate a node, which is quite expensive. And then after that, you contribute your compute, your storage, um, and you need to purchase a whole bunch of other tracks or additional slots for your node to actually generate any rewards. So that proposition didn't make a lot of sense. And so I know people are familiar with founders nodes or the theater nodes on the film side. So a proposition where it's simple and it's as easy to understand as you purchase a license, you contribute your computational power, and you get rewarded for um, your contribution. So we wanted to make the jukebox node from at least a proposition standpoint similar to that. Now, appreciate that some people will contribute more compute than others. Some people have beefed up GPUs that they're willing to provide their services from, and others just use a basic $5 VPS. So I think that should be factored in as we move towards um, equitable distribution based on people's contribution. But the initial thinking around it was a jukebox node should be as simple as um, you getting a license, contributing your compute for a certain amount of hours a day. You've made it available for music hosting, and therefore you should be rewarded for it. Um, that was a simple thinking behind it. I think the thinking, at least from my perspective, makes sense. The implications for the users that purchased a lot of node slots or they were trying to host particular tracks directly on their node so that they can, they ensure they're getting all the rewards. Um, we've tried to factor in slots as much as we can to the degree that it makes sense to do so. And I think we've done that, but there is definitely going to be some people that are impacted that aren't happy about that change. But if we look at some of the numbers around how the change has impacted the various user types. The vast majority of users are sort of benefiting from this process. But
Yeah,
I don't want to not acknowledge that it it was a downgrade for some user types, but
yeah.
it came at the service of making the product a bit more appetizing, a bit simplified, um, so that we can scale and continue to bring in an audience that understands what a jukebox node is in the first place. Not everyone needs to operate one. Not everybody is going to be like, you know, a, a promoter of the ecosystem per se, but how the decentralized network works needed to make sense to some degree. And I think simplifying it takes us in the right direction there.
Agreed. And I wanted to address Alexander's question. So with the implementation of the new system, does it mean that I'm essentially not hosting my own tracks on my own node anymore? It's all done randomly in the back end. There's actually an option when you're activating a track to put your to make sure that it's hosting on your jukebox node. But yeah, like TopBoyQ was mentioning, even the kind of activation of tracks is just to make sure this journey the user journey is more simplified. That's an important point. And Ed77, I know the simple node rewards is good, but it's too low, doesn't even cover cost of running the machine. That is something that as I've been having conversations with the community about, is a good point. And we definitely want to continue to add functionality to the node proposition, and figure out ways where we can just provide more value overall. So appreciate the conversations we've been having around that for sure. Um, and Hutch, yeah, right. Music are literally bar and Q from film. Nah, Top Boy Q's the Web3 strategist for the company. What you talking
Yeah,
about, bro? What you be
yeah,
you
you,
be trying to stir stuff over here? Nah, I'm messing with you. But sorry, anything you wanted to kind of touch on the points I was making, the questions that were addressed from the
yeah,
community?
Yeah, I think it's important also to acknowledge that the model that we're building, um, it makes sense when the utility of music improves. And in a climate where it doesn't do that, I think people are going to have reservations around whether this proposition is worthwhile. And you know, that's not that's very much understood. And so I think all the participants that are here, our incentives are very much aligned in, the where we want the future of music to go. So I have seen that question, and some people have DM'd me like, "Hey, what we're building here, it only makes sense when the math checks out, and right now the math like we do the math as well, and it's understood. Utility is quite important, and I'm sure you guys have had a conversation with Santi yesterday, and I've had the pleasure of having so many deep conversations with him and how we can incorporate, additional utility in like this microtransaction way. He comes from a games background, and he's looking to build Gala Music as like this gamified music consumption, artist discovery, and recognition platform. And when you create a game experience, there are syncs and in-game transactions that you can build in and give you additional utility to the music token. And some of his ideas have been great, and I actually look forward to the audience here starting to see how the music token is more utilized within the platform, um, outside of the type of incentive mechanisms we've built, like artist holding or a boost or whatever you want to call it. So
Agreed.
it's it's important, like, the using the music token for the right things and creating burns and syncs for that is absolutely a priority for the team, and I don't know, I think sometimes when I spend a little bit of time in Discord, it feels like, our audience doesn't understand that we value that as well. Um, you know, Obviously, for particular reasons, we don't talk about like token price or anything like that because that isn't something we have control over. But
Yeah.
improving the utility of why people want to have music and what they use it for is absolutely the name of the game and what we're trying to build here.
Yep, no, that's a great point. Yep, yep. And before I before I ask this question from Ed, Hutch, we might have to bring our beef out in the public spotlight, man. Like what you No, I'm messing. So
Oh
Ed
yeah,
asked.
yeah, you have to do that. Sorry, I'm interrupting, but the audience doesn't know that we had like this little rap battle phase in the company. Hutch and JaeHoon were going at it, and it was hilarious. The whole company had a good laugh. JaeHoon, you got to share that with the community, man. That'd be
Low key,
hilarious.
Hutch, we might have to, you know what I mean? We might have to start that up in the public background, We might, film and music. I mean, I want film to succeed, so, I know people film, but it sounds entertaining. So I appreciate, yeah, I appreciate Kibby jumping in too. You guys are jokes, and I love the community, how, they're back. I do think music is where it's at right now, so, but anyways, so Ed was asking about what are the plans to improve the functionality of music? What are the plans for more utility to holding music with artists? And actually, I think this is kind of a good segue to something I wanted to talk about, which is artist holdings and this new system we have, where you hold music against an artist, and that helps boost track earnings and whatnot. One thing I wanted to kind of celebrate as a team is we got an additional 2,252,654 music held against artists ever since that new update is in place. And one, we haven't, it's still half baked, it still needs work, and we really haven't been so public about it because we're still aiming to polish kind of this whole system in general. But I definitely feel when it comes to understanding what you can do easily and in a marketable way with music on the platform. Some of that's going to come into play, but Santi also has been having this vision of kind of like the microtransactions that TopBoyQ has been mentioning. So yeah, TopBoy, can you kind of delve into artist holdings and the way that helped kind of add utility to the music token, and also what other plans we have to continue to add utility to the music token?
I mean, I see the platform for fans and for advocates and promoters, I see the platform as a way to not only discover artists, but to promote their favorite artists into new heights in their career. Now that means different things for different artists, but the music token should be leveraged to get the artist in a better standing, whether that's within the platform, promoting them on the homepage, or improving the sort of the listening weight of their music within the platform. It's intended to create sort of this I hate to say it, but like this player versus player game with artists on the platform as you promote your favorite artists. And so I think this first iteration of artist holding does that, but the vision for artist boost was is and was a lot bigger than that. It's you want to be able to um, you know, grant opportunities to your favorite artists by getting them to a certain level. And when a certain amount of music is held or burnt against that artist, um, their levels sort of progress. And, you know, levels like we have a very well connected team. And we know that levels can represent different opportunities for artists. Now, what
Mm,
it will actually become and what it'll morph into under Santi's, direction and guidance here. I can't really speak to it, but the essence behind Artist Boost is truly to boost this, your favorite artist to new heights and new opportunities in their career. Right now, the only thing that's been factored in is sort of the distribution weight multiplier based on how much music they hold. But even that, it's not very visible, or it's not very understood how that works. So if I hold, let's say, 30 music or 100 music against an artist, what what is the math behind how that impacts that artist's um, listening multiplier or the weighted distribution boost? So like those are the type of things that we need to continue incorporating to make artist holding or artist boost a bit more understood and more widely used. But you
great,
know, the initial implementation of it as a proof of concept, I think it's worked quite well. We have seen a lot more people wanting to leverage or hold their music against their favorite artists, probably because they own tracks of those artists. But it could be that your favorite artist is on the platform and you want to gain recognition for being their biggest fan, and so you support them, and so we can use this system as a logic driven system within the platform to promote the artists um, that have the biggest fandom behind them. And as you do that as a fan, we want to highlight your recognition as a top fan, as the top contributor to an artist's success. So there's a whole vision behind what this feature is meant to be. I think what people have seen right now is a very, very small snippet of it, but overall, I think it has created utility for the token. Again, it's not necessarily burned, but just um, an intention or reason to hold music, I think is a good thing, and it adds to the utility, at least to the narrative piece to this.
yeah,
Um,
most definitely.
yeah,
Yep, yep. And part of it also is the thinking of, how can we support community efforts or third parties in being able to share more effectively about this music ecosystem in a visible way, in a fun way that clicks to people. Not
mm,
everyone might understand. Even when we talk about the utility of music, I really think of it as how can you know what to use with that music in a very simple and marketable way? So, certain terms like level up your favorite artists and whatnot, utilizing artist boost was a part of that thinking. And I'm
yeah,
actually excited because I think Santi is working to kind of polish this concept a bit more in terms of how
yeah.
can we make this platform fun to engage in overall, and
Well,
how is music the foundation of kind of this
yeah.
gamification? Yeah, you were saying?
Well, we need more taglines for the music product. The product needs a clear and concise identity, and I think Santi is going to help us move in a direction where everyone that talks about music talks about it in a similar way. Like I think somebody asked, and I was quick glancing over some of the questions. for this AMA, but it was like, what's the elevator pitch for Gala Music? I think um, to to answer not to answer that question specifically, but to have an identity for the product and have those taglines through things like what you could do with a music token, in having a direct relationship between the artist, between the creator and the fan, is the ethos of Web3, is the direct nature of it, and removing the intermediaries is what the core features of blockchain and bring to an entertainment Web3 product. So I think all of those things with features like Artist Boost make this product make sense as a whole. Like there's so many things, there's so many music platforms that don't have blockchain incorporated, and they provide a music listening experience or an artist discovery experience, but blockchain brings certain features like network effect, like verifiable ownership, um, like the direct consumer creator relationship that non-blockchain music products don't bring. So I think it's our responsibility as a team to take the best features of the blockchain, incorporate them into a music product, and deliver it in a way that, one, the blockchain aspect is hidden. People don't have to interact with it if they don't need to, but you take the very best of what blockchain offers, and you create a music product around it. And that's been the crux of the conversation we've been having as a team, and how we can effectively do that. Because I think for the longest time, we were simply a music platform that uses blockchain, but what that means, um, for everyday users that are trying to discover artists, wasn't very clear. And I think we're coming closer and closer to that clarity. I'd be lying to you if I said we had 100% of the answers. I still don't think we have all the answers, but we are definitely on the right path to make it all make sense, and you know be clear and intentional about why we use the blockchain for this entertainment product.
Yeah, no, that's an important point. And just to add on, yeah, and I think like I was kind of mentioning about, the community being able to share about this music ecosystem in a simple and marketable way. That also extends to just third parties in general, right? Like we have the
Mm,
relationships where we can get cost efficient prices on any partnerships we want to do. Like we have those relationships, but at the end of the day, it's about how can we make sure we utilize our resources in the right timing, and how can we on the product side build out the mechanics that will help it easy to kind of promote this platform and the music ecosystem in general. So part of Artist Boost was kind of thinking in terms of those lines, like, hey, what if Snoop Dogg is able to share how he leveled up, or October London, or is a top fan of October London through the music ecosystem, right? Like that brings more clarity to the conversations that are had around the music ecosystem. So, that's one point to note about a lot of this. And just in terms of
mm,
where our thinking is, like, we don't necessarily need everyone to participate with every facet of the platform. And I really, the energy I like about what Santi is bringing is he is thinking those questions, and like, how can we make this a platform that a regular music fan can enjoy? And that's going to be important and kind of add to just the value of this whole conversation in general. So, by the way, Hutch, okay, I'm gonna. So, what's your? No, no, actually, I can't distract this conversation. Hutch, stop distracting me. He's trying to ask me what your favorite color is. That's not an important question. I'm gonna reject that question, Hutch. So there was certain people asking actually around this, and so what are details for actual holdings against artists? Do you want to break that down, Top Boy Q, in terms of how it works in
what do you
terms of
mean?
tracking artist earnings? Basically, the 70/30 and whatnot.
Yeah, I think Shishkin Kun could probably speak to that a little bit better. I think the way it was implemented, um, it achieved the objective, but it was, I think he'd be able to speak more to it. But I do see a question around, what if everybody locked or held their music against one artist? I think there definitely needs to be some sort of a max cap around the boost that a particular artist can get. I kind of see it as a way to, I know the 5-to-1 exclusivity thing isn't something that everybody's a fan of. But if you have enough of a listening base and enough of an audience and fandom within the platform, and you don't necessarily release exclusive music, it's a way for your tracks to be as valuable in this dynamic economy as like an exclusive track, for example. I know it's a crude example and it wouldn't be like 5-to-1, but the thinking is you can boost a track or you can boost the tracks of artists that are popping off that are bringing in a lot of fans to new heights. So
Yep, yep.
um,
Yeah, and just to go into the details, basically right now is track earnings, track owners or artists. The way that your earnings are determined is 70% is determined by the amount of listens that the artist has compared to the total listens that are on the platform, and then 30% is determined by how much music is held against that artist compared to the total amount of music is held into that into all artists. So just wanted to kind of
yeah,
bring some clarity around that. Second, special element. I saw your question, but it's my thing fell. You asked around why don't we basically make it where the people who participate in the holding music system, they're the ones who get the earning instead of people who don't participate or their artist, just hold music against that artist. First of all, like there's definitely, it's when it comes to this, there's a lot of legal parameters we have to kind of abide by when it comes to a system like this. So that's kind of one aspect of it. And second, at the end of the day, being able to kind of boost that artist and hold music against that artist, and it's just that's how the system works. It's not this it's different from ecosystem supporting actions, where if you participate you're going to be able to get music from that system. So it's just a different system entirely. So yeah, but let's I see people how many tokens Michael Jackson could have locked against if he would return the Gala music. That's hilarious. It would be nice to have some incentive system in place. The more tracks you own, the bigger discount you get for purchase of the next one. So the more tokens you hold against an artist, the better discount you receive buying songs of this artist. Yeah, no, I feel that. Definitely some good ideas floating around in general. But yeah, let's move on. I think we've anything else you want to kind of add to this
yeah,
discussion?
yeah. Two
Artist
more
holding?
things. I think to Alex Tor's feedback there, I think there should be some recognition that artist holding is like a super MVP version
Yeah.
of this feature, and so part of it was this serving as a dual benefiting mechanism where the more fandom you express as a fan, as somebody that holds or burns music against an artist, the more recognition you get, and recognition could be in the form of UI elements, but also through exclusive benefits like potential discounts, like exclusive experiences. And it would be up to the artist to try to provide it. As a platform, we would want to facilitate that as much as possible, but the artists, you know, would incentivize people to hold music and boost them the same way that a fan is having to choose which artist to boost based on whose tracks they own the most or which artist they want to see the most successful within this platform. So
Yeah.
I think you're right on the money with how that could work, and it could be built into the system. But I think the direction it takes, I'm very curious to see it as well. I know Santi has some great ideas and how he wants to continue incorporating it. And one last bit around the hardest folding. Right now, I think the initial experience is you can hold music against an artist, but you have to wait 7 days for you to unlock it. And that is to have a little bit of stability within the ecosystem. So the circulating supply of music isn't increasing or decreasing rapidly, or, um, you know, music emissions aren't changing a whole lot, where the maximum around music emissions don't change a lot. Um, there I agree that there should be a mechanism where people can instantly unlock, but there should be some sort of a tax that people pay for that, just to create that equilibrium and stability within the ecosystem. So, something like a 3% or 5% of whatever your holding amount is, if you wanna instantly unlock it, you can basically pay a fee to unlock it, and that's something that we're looking to build. internally. I'm sure that feature will likely come out. I don't
Yeah.
want to say a date because Ishkum is in the audience and he'll get upset if I say a date, but soon.
Yep, yep. But and actually another point I did want to bring up too is that eventually there will be some type of ranking system with artists. I think part of the initial thinking was, making it kind of clear cut with kind of the artist boost system, but I think it's going to be a bit more nuanced with kind of Santi's vision he's bringing in. But part of that is also going to help us be able to focus because there's so much artists on the platform. We're a thin team, and we're gonna really be able to dial into the artists who are benefiting the music ecosystem the most. And so that was part of the thinking around that, where it's like, the top 10 artists can, have opportunities we're listed to. And it actually makes it easier as a whole for us to share how these artists have benefited from the music ecosystem in general. So that's one thing to note. And also, it gives you all as a community an incentive to focus on, the tracks of artists you guys want to purchase, because as we scale this up, it's not really going to be possible for all tracks to continue selling out, right? So wanted to kind of create that to create this network effect where um people, artists who are in this ecosystem and get to learn more about the music ecosystem, are incentivized to bring their fans here and do more kind of in terms of how we can launch this platform off in general. And on kind of the community side, I do have some ideas in highlighting these artists. So just want to let you know that's something that's in the works. And something, I'm not going to go into the details around it since the whole concept is still being polished. But having a conversation with Santiago, I kind of we had a discussion about these goals in general. So definitely wanted to kind of go into that with this whole new system. But once again, we got an additional 2,252,654 music held against artists. Shout out to everyone who participated in this system. Let's move on to the next one. So I think this was a kind of a win from just the community side of things, but we basically removed track rarities and upgradability altogether. $100, 100 quantity, keeping it simple. So, what was the reason for this change, and how does this change benefit the music ecosystem, Top Boy?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
What was the reason for the change? I mean, first and foremost, I think the community was pretty vocal about it being. I thought I saw the word downgradability system used, and I kind of chuckled at that because I, come from a Web3 background as well, to some degree, and the idea of um, an initial or having an initial circulating supply or max supply, and then that increasing and diluting the rewards of everybody that chose to participate early is kind of I don't know. I think in the Web3 world, it's kind of considered somewhat of a soft drug. I agreed with the sentiment from the community. They were vocal, and so we decided to make the change. I'd say that's probably what we'd credit that to.
Yeah, yeah. No, hey, sashimi. Hey, I appreciate sashimi coming through. What's the total number of holdings against artists? I think JaeHoon just mentioned. Whoever got it first will get 10
Oh wow!
mystery boxes. Roger 5, that's not, you got to say the exact number. You get Roger, this is your moment. Oh, by the way, TopBoyQ. Yeah, Roger is basically our mystery box just master in terms of how much he participates in the mystery box
Oh, word.
so shout out to Roger. Roger, you gotta clutch this up, man. Should I just DM it to you? Should I just let you get it? All right, I'm gonna leave it in. Whoever, honestly, Jeff Lowkey could probably get it. No, that's wrong, Coetus. I'm not gonna even. That's completely wrong. Way more than that. So, the removal of songs rarity was an amazing decision, Alexander. I appreciate that. Crypto line, yeah. So basically, he did. Santi did kind of go into the high level thinking around this. But and he's actually been behind the scenes, putting in a lot of work with the product team to kind of advance his thinking on this. So definitely going to be able to have another session where we dive in more deeply around that. But yeah, no, that just made me laugh. Sashimi's um comment right there. So crypto line is, how are we going to incentivize track sales and reward the ones who have been, maybe we can get an NFT that gives us pre-sale access for all drops at a certain tier of tracks with other things as well. Yeah, like TopBoyQ is saying, definitely I think there's more granular kind of options we can put to kind of improving this whole system in general. So, by the way, I told TopBoyQ this would be like 25 minutes. It's already been 50, and we still have to jump in with artists. So, first of all, I want to appreciate TopBoyQ for coming on. I feel like we've kind of been able to address a lot of the changes head on. You are wrong, Jeff. You guys are all wrong. So it looks like okay, Hutch. Okay, TopBoyQ, what's your favorite color, real quick, so Hutch can stop bothering me about it.
It used to be orange, but when I got married, my wife told me it's too bold and boring, and so she told me my favorite color should be green, and so now I tell people it's green.
Nice, nice. Dang, sashimi. See, I know no one pays attention to think JaeHoon. Dang, that would hurt. That would hurt. Is Santiago Jaramillo? No, 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 no. I'm not Santiago Jaramillo. No, no, no. That's our new head of product. Um, yeah, so that is not me. Okay, anyways, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. No, no, it was yesterday's AMA Rocky Unit. So that was when we that was when we kind of, but I'm gonna post the AMA actually. I finally finished recording the video of whatever and gonna post it. I know Jeff is also gonna post this AMA too, so you guys will be able to see that. Why wrap it up? I'm trying
Um,
to be mindful of Top Boy
we
Q's time.
wait. I remember last AMA that I was on, we said that we would get, an intimate AMA with some of the artists, to make sure they're properly incentivized to use the platform, and so their considerations and feedback is heard. So I thought that's what I was coming into, if I'm being completely honest. So, are we doing that?
Yeah, we're gonna do that right after this. I just want to invite. I'm inviting Hutch for Sashimi Kun to come up just so they could say what's up because they be making me laugh. You are the best, think JaeHoon. Great work, bro. Cool AMA Top Boy Q. Have some questions. We'll DM you. I appreciate that, Coetus. You've been talking all that smack, Hutch. Come up, man. Sashimi, you too, man. I think we need to resolve our beef out here. Let's Hutch, come up. I know you have something funny, interesting to say. Come up before we jump into the artist. Ah, you see, he's backing out. You see, Hutch? Okay, he's up. What's up, Hutch? Good to see you in the building, bro.
What's
What's up,
up,
man?
guys?
Trying to
We
start something?
we thought you're all
What?
talking, you wouldn't actually pull up, but
I
No.
literally,
glad to have
I
you in.
literally jumped out of bed, ran downstairs, just so I could chat because everybody else is asleep here.
Oh yeah, it's pretty late on your
Uh,
end. I just realized. Dang, appreciate you
uh,
coming through.
I could tell by the way you're so out of breath, Hutch, you didn't have to finish anything. That's wild.
One flight of stairs that gets me these days.
That's wild.
Yo, Hutch, we
The,
gotta
the
restart our
question,
beef, bro.
the question I wanted to ask was, who's your favorite colleague?
That's a good
Was that
question, Top.
question towards?
You.
Is that me? Oh, it's evolved. I've been with Gala for over 2 years now. Been on several different teams at varying levels. I would say if JaeHoon wasn't on this call, I would say Hutch would be my favorite colleague. But I've built quite a connection with JaeHoon, and so you know, I don't want to be that parent that says both because yeah, I'd be bullshitting. Probably say JaeHoon right now, and Hutch is a close second.
Dang, what's up, Hutch? Yeah, I'd say Top Boy Q is mine.
Bro,
So
he's running back up. He's done.
Hutch,
I
what's up,
nearly,
though?
I nearly just left the stage. I thought that would be the
You've been
funniest thing
trying
to
to
do.
talk all that smack though, man. What's up, bro? You trying to start something, man? We can take this on public, man. You're trying to. I think music is actually where it's most active right now. So you know what I mean, guys. Nah, I'm messing with you. Nah,
Yeah.
Hutch works cross departmental anyway. So we're all working together at the end of the day.
I'm
But
here to
anyways,
annoy everybody in the company.
nah, Hutch is my man. Honestly, I appreciate Hutch. Hutch has always given me just real valuable insight kind of with all this. So anyways, we're gonna jump into kind of the artist segment, but one thing I wanted to kind of shout out before we end this is first of all, wanted to thank you for all of your support. I've definitely been noticing kind of more energy in the community overall. Everyone kind of participating helps bring that momentum and makes things exciting. So first of all, continue to come to these AMAs, continue to interact with the Discord by chatting, and also even add the Gala music emoji to the announcement that was just made, because it feels exciting when there's a lot of people who kind of even add on and kind of things like that. And I think music has the best community right now. And yeah, everyone just make sure everyone in the Gala ecosystem knows how active our community is, So go spread out to games and film. Let's get everyone over here. You know what I mean? But appreciate everyone who kind of participated in this overall. I'm going to be jumping into the artist chat. So anyone who's an artist, come through to that stage, and we'll be able to kind of dive a bit deeper with artists in general. So thank you all. Talk to you all later. Peace.
Appreciate it.